You shouldn't be reluctant to want, and don't reject the want. If you want it, understand where it's coming. It's coming from the essence of who you are. It's coming from your heart, the heart of hearts. It's coming from the spiritual core of your being. See, Spirit wants to express itself in a greater way, and you're the instrument. Spirit works through you. Spirit doesn't do anything on its own. You got to do it. That's where the wants come from. I want. Understand that's coming from inside. It's not you want to get. It's you want to grow. As you're going after whatever it is you want, it's for growth. It's not to obtain. Everything you own at the time of your death, it's going to belong to somebody else. You never own anything anyway. You're merely a custodian. You can have it, you can use it, you can share it, but you can't own it. It's a joke. People think they own it. I own this land. You can't own it. Look, that's why the Indians that were here before we arrived, they laughed at us when we started to say we own the land. We don't own the land. The land owns us. You see, all we're doing is stripping away a lot of the nonsense and looking at the basic truth about life. Wants, it's good to want. What we want to start doing is dreaming out loud. When the Wright brothers started to talk about a plane in the air, everyone thought they were crazy. We should be at the point today where nothing's crazy. If you can think it, you can do it. There is a place. When you use your imagination, you're just going on to a higher frequency. This got nothing to do with your age. It's got nothing to do with gender. It has nothing to do with race, nationality, none of that stuff. We're all the same. We just look and sound different, but we're all the same. The wants just come to the surface. You have to ask, where did they come from? Such an interesting concept. They come from inside. And it's only through constant spaced repetition, a deep level of understanding, that you will plant that in your heart. It's wild the way it happens. It comes from Spirit, you give it back to Spirit, and through the reciprocal law of Spirit, it gives it back to you in physical form. That's the way it works. There's nothing complicated. Don't confuse it. Don't get involved in a whole lot of complicated stuff.
Welcome guys. Welcome to day 2. I am so thrilled to have you all today. Let me know in the chat. First of all, hello. Let me just maybe, say exchange hellos with me today. You do need to be a subscriber to comment. So I would highly recommend that you subscribe to us. It's just going to take a minute for you to start responding in the chat. And I love that connection because you can ask me so many questions. It's absolutely lovely. I just want to first of all express my gratitude to you all for showing up, for doing homework. And I'm going to go a little bit about goals again today because I want to just bring some clarity to you guys from yesterday, because many of you, I think, watched the recordings and you were not here live and you were not there on the extra session as well. So I would love to actually help you a little bit there. But well done for persevering. I am so impressed. Well done. And one thing I also want to say is about accountability. Accountability is your insurance policy. It's your success policy. Like people have insurance policy. Accountability is your success policy in life. And that's what we are giving actually to you. During this week, we are really holding you accountable, as I would actually do with, in our community, like really holding you accountable, how the goal needs to be written, what needs to be done, how everything needs to be done. And we will hold you accountable because when we set big goals, right? They're scary, some of them, and they should be scary, first of all. If they're not, that means you're not on the right goal. And so you do need someone to hold you a little bit of accountability there. So that's really good. So well done, first of all, if you have a goal. If you do not have a goal, that's absolutely fine as well. You at least have started thinking, what do I really want? And remember what I said yesterday, that's the number one question you can ask for yourself. What do I really want? That's the most important question anyone can ask themselves, what do I really, really want? Do you know what you really, really want, right? So make sure that you know what you really want in life, because you will get it. That's the thing. You can have whatever you want. So it's very important to know the clarity. And on that note, like a lot of people, messaged in the group, they even DM'd me. Your goal needs to be very specific. Your goal needs to be measurable. It needs to be very specific. And just saying, I want to be more healthy, more happy, is not sufficient enough for the mind. And you will understand why I'm telling you later on today. Why is it that mind needs specific things actually? Because it needs specific commands from you. That's how it works. Mind works in images, right? So, do you have that image of your goal? Because that's what you need to impress upon your subconscious. And you will learn a lot about mind today. So, really be open to loads and loads of information, but not just information, applying that information. I think that's the key here. So, that's really important. The other thing I want to say is, so yeah, make sure that your goal is not realistic. Make sure you're setting a big C type goal. What do you really want? Because right now, you are dimming your light. Right now, you are settling for less in life. But what is it when you go into that heart's desire? What do I really, really want, right? Like, I really wanted freedom in my life. What does that freedom look like? So, just saying freedom is not good enough again. For some person, it would be 10,000 pounds a month. For some, it could be a million a month. For some, it could be maybe 10 million a month. I do not know. For some, it could be just be time. So it might not even be with money related, but has to be. Money and I think freedom are very connected. So, so it really depends upon what does it look like? What does it mean to you? Not to your neighbor, not to your parents, not to your spouse, your partner, your kids. What does it mean to you? That's very important, I feel. So important. What does that look like for you? What does that goal mean to you? So if someone says to you, by the way, that setting a goal is not important, I will say run miles away from them. Why? Because look at the results. Do they have results in life? No. So it's actually very important to have a goal in life, because like I explained yesterday, if you do not have a goal, you are just wasting your time. Your precious time that has been given to you, the talents that have been given to you, you're not utilizing them. So the other thing is that when you set a goal, it's also important to then move into action. Like ask yourself, what can I do today? With whatever I have, what can I start doing today to get closer to my goal? Very, very important. And by the way, I think I'm late in asking this question to you, but can you hear me, by the way? Can you see me and hear me? So maybe give me a thumbs up in the chat and let me know if you can see me and hear me well, because I think I should have asked you that before. I'm just speaking like this to a screen and, because I can't see you. It's on YouTube. So let me know in the chat if you can see me and hear me. That would be good. So as I said, run away from anyone who says goal is not important, because goal is very important. It's the foundation. It's the foundation of your building. It's the foundation of your life. So it's very important to set the right goal in life. It's very important to have the goal which excites you and scares you at the same time, both at the same time. And the other thing I want to clarify, like I even said yesterday, I love this. Be a bit louder. Maybe I think increase your, maybe increase your audio on your way you're listening to me. I think that would be really good as well. If you could just increase your volume. I think I'm speaking really, I've got a loud voice anyway. So maybe, I'm not sure. Yeah, just increase the volume at your end. So I was going to talk to you about progressive realization of a worthy ideal, right? Like I said, that's the best definition of success yesterday. So make sure that you are moving into action, whatever that small action is, even if it's simple steps every day, you start taking them. Because when you start taking them, you are going in a different vibration. And I will explain things to you in depth today. So expect a little bit longer session today. I will try to finish it in 1 hour, but we might go a little bit over the hour. But this is the most important concept that anyone can ever explain to you, that you would have ever come across. I can tell you this concept has truly transformed my life. This concept has transformed hundreds and thousands of people's life who are aware of this concept. And today you are one of those as well who will be aware, not only aware, but actually be going through this process with me today. So when you did your card yesterday, when you wrote on your goal card, and maybe your goal card was like, I want to earn $1 million. Maybe it was, I want to achieve something which is way beyond you think right now. what was the first thought that came to your mind? Was it like, oh my gosh, like I remember when I did my first gold card, I remember it was very clearly, I used to be a teacher, so I used to earn around 2.5, 3K, right, as a teacher. And I remember when I set the goal, my goal was about £10,000 a month. And the first thing that came to me, oh my gosh, who do you think you are? Like, £10,000 is not easy to earn. And today I laugh at that because I've gone way beyond that. But why am I telling you that? I'm telling you that because those things are natural which come to your mind. Who am I? Who do I think I am? How will I get there? I think that's the biggest thing that comes for people. How will I get there? So let me know if how is the problem that you have, right? What do you have that problem? So see again, happiness, money is not so important. Well, do you, again, I think that's a debatable thing. So I would say, why can't you have both? Why do you think if you have happiness, you won't have money in life? You can have both of them, right? Maybe you can do more good in society when you have more money. So we will talk about money on Friday a lot. But today, when we're setting the goal, okay, so alongside your goal, it could be, of course, that I'm so happy and grateful now that I earn this money. It doesn't have to be money. It could be I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm living a fulfilled life. But you want to know what that fulfilled life look like. You want to know what that happiness looks like. What's going to bring you happiness? What is it that brings you happiness? So you want more of that in your life, right? So that should be very, very much clear in your mind. It should have a very clear image in your mind. What does that look like? That's my whole point here. So it doesn't have to be a materialistic goal. It doesn't have to be a money related goal. It could be health for someone. It could be relationships. It could be happiness. But what does that happiness look like? What does that relationship look like? I think the clarity of that image is very, very important. So that's my first point. I remember when I met Bob Proctor for the first time, and when I set this goal, and I was not sure about the goal, and I was like, there's so many problems. I've got smaller kids, I've got this, all of those problems. And he said to me, none of those are your problems. The only problem you have in your life is you, and the only solution is you. So today I'm going to show you the solution, how you are the only solution to the problem that you have right now, to whatever that situation is. So whether you might think it's the economy, you might think it's inflation, it's this, it's that, it's the job market. It's nothing to do with that, right? And I will show you all of that today. So it's not the economy, as I said, it's not the money, none of them is. If every strategy also works, some people come to me, maybe it's my strategy. No, every strategy works. If you know how to work with the 95% of your mind, and that is what I'm going to teach you today. How to actually, right now you're working maybe with the 1 or 2% of your mind, and your results are there. You are only utilizing the conscious mind, which is, I'm going to show it to you later on today, just that bit. And, but your results are coming from this. So how do we create those results? That's what we are going to really dig deeper into today. So as I said, if your 95% and more is working, everything is working in your life. So that is really good. Okay. Now, before I jump into something, I've got a few questions for you, because I think it's very important for you. Now that you've set the goal, now that you have said to me, I'm committed, right? Who said that I'm committed? Who is really committed in achieving what they want in life? If you are one of those, which I expect you all to be, then I want you to really show up from that place today. So I'm going to ask you some questions, because I think it's very important for you to actually even know whether this challenge is for you. If this is the right place for you. So I've got a few questions which are also in your participants guide. So one of the questions I have is for you, and there is no, this is only yes or no. There is no judgment in this. This answer is just for you to understand you better, because I think it's very important to any journey of life, for any manifestation, for any type of growth. Self-awareness is the most important thing. The first step is always the self-awareness. So before you can start going and manifesting brilliant things in your life, happiness, joy, more relationships, better relationships, more career, money, whatever that is for you, it's very important for you to understand these questions, because they will tell you, they'll give you an insight about yourself. So first, my question to you is, do you compare yourself with others? And it's simple, yes or no. There is no right or no wrong. Because I remember I used to compare myself a lot. I used to compare myself with, like my parents used to compare me when I was little, right? Oh my gosh, that child did so well, you did not, and all of that. And don't we all do that to our kids as well? So we are kind of conditioned into this kind of comparing ourselves. If our, colleague does well, oh my gosh, how come they did it and I can't? So we kind of, somehow comparing ourselves in a good way or a negative way. So let me know in the chat if you compare yourselves. So maybe just a yes or a no in the chat if you want to. Like I said, this is just for you to be aware of, because I do not want to waste your time. But if you answer majority of the yes and there is more room for improvement, and even if it's no and you like there is more room for improvement, I want you to stay on this challenge. I don't trust my decisions. Who here does not trust their decisions? I know I never did. And I did not do it because I so-called did so many mistakes in life that I never trusted myself. So any decision I would be like, can you help me? Can you help me? I would ask my mom even after my marriage, can you help me? I would ask my sisters. I would ask someone else. Like, for even for small decisions, what shall I wear today? Or do you think I should do this? Do you think I should go after this? So all of those are decision makings, right? So are you good at making decisions? Do you trust yourself with decisions? That's either a yes or no. And maybe you are good with making decisions, but there's also room of improvement there. So for me, I remember, like, even when I started changing my career, I was like asking so many people, like before, right? Shall I not? And then I was like, no. Do I want this in my life? No. So then I'm going to make a decision. And that was even with my health, right? I had fibromyalgia for a lot of time, for a very long time, 8, 9 years, and chronic fatigue with it. But when I made that, like, again, I was listening to everyone, trying this, trying that. But when I made a committed decision, I wanted to heal myself, I did in 6 months. So it always comes down to decision, because it's so important that you are the decision maker. You're not giving that power to anyone else. Do you worry about opinions of others? This I really see. And it might not be very visible to you, but anytime you post something on social media and you're like, oh my gosh, have I got likes? That is seeking outside validation. So are you seeking that outside validation in any way? It could be on social media, it could be from your family. Like, have I done this right? Have I not done this right? So do you actually worry about what other people might think or might not think? Then do you put everything off until later? Okay, I will do it tomorrow, I will do it later on. And you might think, maybe not, I maybe not do it all the time. But see, what do you do majority of the time? Do you actually pull it off, like, I will do it later? So what do you do? Are you afraid of making mistakes? Like, are you afraid of making mistakes? Because I will show you later on why I'm asking you these questions, because they've got such a big role to play in your current life today that you don't even recognize that. So they might show up in some way or the other, but they are very much ingrained in you. And that's why your results are a reflection of that. That's why I want to ask you, do you go through that? So, rejection again. How many times do you feel rejected? Maybe someone said, I do not want to do your program with you, and you feel rejected. And maybe someone said, oh, I didn't like what you did, and you feel rejected because you think it's about you. Actually, it's not about you. They're just saying they do not want what you have. But we make rejection very personal to us because, again, I'll show you why later on, right? So do you take that rejection personally as well? You have trouble concentrating. You can't focus. You jump from one tab to the other. Probably you've got 100 tabs open in the background, or maybe you start one thing and you stop and then you jump on another thing. Do you have problem in concentrating? All of these are very much connected to what your results in life are today. And that is why it's so important to understand you. How am I operating? Am I operating on which frequency, which level am I operating on? Then you do not feel like a great leader. Like, you always think that there is, I can't do this well. Maybe someone else should lead it. Maybe in your company, maybe in your job, maybe in your business. You're always kind of doubting yourself. You're always not trusting yourself, afraid to sell. And when I say selling, many of you might not even be in a business, but selling is also an idea, right? You sell an idea as well. So when you're in big corporates and everything, you're selling ideas. You're selling. I remember when I asked, when I started doing this work, I was like to Bob Proctor, like, I do not know how to sell. And he says, what do you do? He asked me. And I replied that I work in a school with kids because that's what I used to do at that point. And he said, oh, wow, you're a very good seller then. I'm like, why do you say that? And he says, because that's what you're doing exactly all day long. You're selling ideas to those kids and they're just accepting those ideas. And I was like, oh man, that is so true, right? Because that's what I was doing. I was selling. So, as a parent, you are selling ideas to your kids. As we're always selling these things, but we think, oh, selling, it's such an icky thing. Selling is like pushy and all of that. And we've got all of these ideas about selling, which are not even true. So, can you see how our mind works? But if we start really differentiating and really taking the false ideas that we've learned attached to it, then it will become more clear what that means. So if you have answered yes to majority of them, or you think there's room for improvement, please stay back. This challenge is for you. If you think, nah, I don't have any of that, I would say go and spend time doing what really fulfills your cup, because then maybe you are really well. But if you think there's room for improvement, this is for you. And why I'm being so serious about that is because what I will share with you today is going to change your life. It really has the power to transform your life. And when I'm saying that, I'm not just saying for the heck of it, I really mean it. If you understand and start applying in your life, it can change your whole life. And for that, you have to take some ownership. For that, you have to take some responsibility of how am I going to show up. So today, if you're ready to make that transformation, I want you to show up from that place. We have around 400 people who have registered for this call, for this event, and many of you will be watching it on recordings, and that's fine. But still, even if you're watching it on the recording, I really want you to show from that place that no, I'm actually going to do this work as I'm going to do it, because I will ask you to get a pen and paper out. I will ask you to get your workbooks out if you have, because what I will be teaching you for the rest of the evening is very, very powerful. It's something that, as I said, has the power to change everything. And I'm going to draw it out, I'm going to show it to you. I've got my iPad here, so I will be sharing my screen with you. So it's not that I'm not looking at you, I'm not going to be ignoring you, but you probably see the screen on my iPad, because what I'm going to show you, it's going to blow your mind, guys. And so understand one thing, what I'm going to show you actually. First of all, you need to understand that the way our mind works, it works in images. Okay, the mind works in images, and the problem is that no one has ever shown us the image of your mind. And today I'm going to show you the image of the mind. So maybe for the majority of it, I'm not sure, because how it is all set up, you might just see the screen of my iPad. You might even not see me, but I can see, I'm still on YouTube. So I'm not sure how that's going to work. This is my first time I'm trying with iPads. I've always tried it with the other way, but I thought, you know what? Why not? Because I really want to show it to you. So I'm going to actually change my screen so you can. So let me know if you can see a screen which is maybe that you can now see. So let's see. Can you see that? Not a really good, but I'm going to rub it and I'm going to draw it again. So let me know if you can see this drawing that I am drawing. This is all coming live to you. And what I'm going to draw is actually you right now. So just let me know in the chat if you can see my black and white screen, and if you can see that I'm actually going to draw something on it now. Yeah, cool. And maybe you need to see, I need to draw a little bit smaller maybe. So you can. So while I'm doing that, can anyone please tell me if you can see the screen? Okay, good. Yeah, I'm not drawing an egg. I'll show you what I'm drawing. It looks like an egg, so you're on the right thing. Okay, so I'm not a very good artist, so pardon me, but I will do the job. Like I said, no one has ever shown us the mind. And when I might say mind to you, you might think of brain, right? You might think it looks like brain, but I want you to know brain is very different to mind. This is you. So this is not an egg, not a ball. Sorry to, upset you there, but this is you. And I will just show you what everything is here right now. I'm going to explain this to you in detail. So this is you. The big circle is your mind, and the small circle is your body. The big mind is the top bit, the top half is, I might actually use colors. This is your conscious mind, right? And this is your subconscious mind. To make it easier for you, I want you to first understand that this mind lives in every cell of your body. Every cell of your body. The conscious mind is also your thinking mind. This is cool, actually. I'm liking this. And your subconscious mind is your emotional mind, or you can call it your feeling mind. Okay? Now, the top 5 things that you see, these antennae, these are actually your 5 senses. Let's use a different color pen. These are your 5 senses. This is how our mind is taking all of the information that is happening around us through see, touch, feel, all of that. Those are your 5 senses, right? What you see on news, what you hear on news, all of that information is going in. Now, if you look at the conscious mind, so this mind, by the way, the big mind controls the body, right? The body moves into action. We all take action, right? Actions will always gives us results in life. These results will either be positive or negative in life. Okay? Are you all with me so far? So we as people think from a thinking mind, we feel from our subconscious, and we act from our body. Does that make sense? Now, why do we need to understand this mind? Because this is how all the results are coming in our life. So through the 5 senses at the top, the antennae here, we take information in from the outside world. Now, the thinking mind, which is your conscious mind, has the power, so I'm going to write it on this side now so you can see it, has the power to accept or reject any information that is coming from the outside world. Okay? This is very important. Very, very important. I want you to understand this. And all the books that you read, all of the books. So if I draw the books here, I'm not good at drawing, but these are the books. All of the podcasts that you listen to. So all of that books that you see and you read, the podcasts that you hear, all of the news, everything that's happening on the outside world, you're taking it all in your conscious mind. And that is the reason when people think, oh, I know it all. I read so much. You know what? You would not believe how many hours I spend on YouTube, how much I read, how much do I, listen to these podcasts. And my results are still not changing. Who here is in that position that you take so much knowledge, you take so much information, but your results aren't shifting? You are doing the affirmations, you're doing everything, nothing is shifting in your life. Do you know why? Because this only controls 5% of your results of life. Only 5%. All of your results are coming from your emotional mind. It controls more than 95% of your results. Now, I'm going to rub this and I'm going to come back to this again because I want to show you why is it that our 95% is not in harmony with our 5%. You have a lot of knowledge, you study a lot, you read a lot, you're doing lots of things, but your results are not shifting. And the results are not shifting because your subconscious is not in harmony with your thinking mind. So now why is it? Why is it that our subconscious is not? And that's why when you set the goal, you've set the goal from your thinking mind, right? Now, and we set goals all the time. Why is it that people can't achieve them? Because this part, which is your emotional mind, your subconscious mind, is in complete opposite of it. Complete opposite. And I will show you. And that's why instead of getting positive results, you are getting negative results. So you are adding lots and lots of information. You're doing all of what you should be doing because you are doing the work. You're probably tired of the work as well, but nothing is shifting. And that is all down to your subconscious mind. Is everyone with me so far? And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get I'm going to rub this all. Yeah. And then I'm going to show you what happened. Why is that our subconscious is not in harmony with what we want? Why is it? What is happening in our subconscious? So to tell you that, I'm going to rub this and I will show you, because this is you. Remember I told you, this is you today. This is you today. You take a lot of information in. You have 5 senses, you have a body, you move into action, you get results. Your results are either positive or either negative, right? I've told you this. So why is it then your subconscious is still not giving you the results? Is there a quicker way of getting rid of all of this? I'm sure there is. I'll learn it for next time. Okay, so now understand what's happening. When you were born, you only had half of the egg. If you were saying it was egg, you only had the subconscious mind. You had not the top bit. Remember what I said? The top bit, the conscious mind, is responsible for accepting or rejecting any idea. Your subconscious has no power of that sort. It has no power whatsoever. So whatever is going around in your environment is going right into your subconscious. So when you were a baby up to 9 years of age, when your parents were arguing about money, when the news were talking about inflation, when your teachers were telling you you're not good enough, when your peers were making fun of you, and everything that was going around you, your grandmother kept saying to you, you are not good enough. I'm just making these up. I'm not saying yours did, right? I can talk about myself. I believed I was not wanted. So all of that information kept going into your subconscious. And subconscious has no power to reject. No power whatsoever. Whatever is impressed upon the subconscious must be expressed. That's the law. Through your body. Remember, body is always moving into action. Action is always giving you results. And that is the reason that your subconscious is not in harmony. And I'm going to explain more this to you, by the way, because I think this is when you understand this, it becomes very powerful, because this is why you have paradigms. So this might be the word that you've never understood, or you've never heard of this word as well, because when I heard about this word paradigm, which is your, not enemy really, but in some form your enemy as well, this is how your paradigms are created. Because we didn't have a thinking mind, we accepted, we didn't analyze it. When your grandmother kept telling you, maybe you're not good enough. Look at your sisters, they're better than you. Your parents were telling you something else. Any idea that was going into you with repeatedly, with repetition, or an emotional impact, and I'll talk about that as well in a minute, it was all going in your subconscious. Because it was all going in your subconscious, you were forming, and not all paradigms were bad, by the way. Some were positive, and most of them were negative. And what happened was, when all of this was happening, now I'm going to rub it again. Sorry, pardon me. I really suggest, guys, you watch this recording again today. I think it only takes 5-10 minutes. You can access the recordings again, or maybe it takes a little bit of time. My team will be better to answer that question. But I highly recommend you watch this session again and again, because this is where you will really understand why you're not getting the results what you want in your life. Okay, there should really be an easy way of cleaning this iPad. And not sure why. Maybe if I, nope, it only works one way, my pencil. Understood that definitely. If anyone is tech savvy, make sure you let me know, maybe even later on in the group, how do you really clean it in one go? Because this is taking forever. So when these paradigms are formed, what is happening is, by the way, what is a paradigm? Paradigm is a multitude of your belief system and your behavior. So what happens is, your paradigm is, oh, not sure what's happening there. All of those things which are going in your mind, it's forming like a tree now. And at the bottom of that tree is your self-image. So whatever was happening around you, whatever you accepted about yourself, oh, this is not really clear, is it? No, it's not. So whatever you were taking in your subconscious, in your emotional mind, in your feeling mind, now from those ideas, you are forming this tree. And at the bottom of this tree is your self-image, and which I will talk about on Sunday. Remember our bonus day? I'm going to talk about self-image on that day. It will be literally a cherry on the cake. So self-image is how you see yourself, right? So how you see yourself. What's your concept about yourself today? How you understand yourself. Pardon my handwriting, please, here, right? I'm not very good with this Apple pen. Do you respect yourself? All of that is part of your self-image. Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe? What convictions you hold about yourself? What standards do you hold about yourself? Now, all of this is coming from your subconscious. Who are you? Yeah, I'm going to try that, Rachel. Thank you so much for telling me that. I'm actually really going to try that in a minute. Or maybe it not be the next page. I'll try it because I've locked the screen on my streaming thing. So I'll see. But all of this is forming, this is your self-image that you formed about yourself. And today you're living by that self-image. So your opinion about yourself, the convictions that you hold, the respect, the belief of how much you have or how much you do not have is according to what do you believe about yourself deep down in this subconscious, right? So that's what's happening inside you. So now, can you see why you're getting the results, what you want and what you do not want? Now I'm going to show you one thing more, which is going to be very powerful. Thank you for your patience, by the way, when I'm rubbing and all of this. I'm actually going to I'm sure there is something that is very easy. I know I can't change the page because it won't allow me to. So, but I need to definitely learn how can I do it easier. Okay, so I'm going to go and draw the stick person again. Remember what I said, the top half is your conscious mind, which is responsible for you to think. It's also responsible for all the information that you take in. It has the power to accept or reject any idea. So let's draw back our beautiful you. Let me draw you again. Oh, it's green this time. And I love calling it you because this, by the way, I also call this your $1 million idea, because this is what's going to bring you $1 million or £1 million or whatever you want. The happy you, if you want more happiness, whatever you want. So remember this thinking mind, again, I'm going to write T for thinking. This thinking mind is responsible for all of your thoughts. So all of the thoughts, I'm going to draw a thought bubble. All of the thoughts that you think, this conscious mind is responsible for that. And where do you think from? Ask yourself. You're thinking either from your 5 senses or you're thinking from your past experiences of life. Am I right? You're either thinking from your past experiences or you're thinking from your 5 senses. Now, to create a new reality, you can't do that. Why? Because you are thinking from your old paradigm. Now, your emotional mind, which is this bottom bit, your feeling mind, your emotional mind, as I remember, I told you, this does not have any power to accept or reject. Whatever is being impressed now from the conscious mind again and again, right, it will be expressed. And I'm going to give you certain examples. Now, a child in a school believes they are very smart about themselves, right? They believe they're very smart. But what is happening is, in school, when they go through humiliation, maybe they said, oh, you're a loser, you're a loser, and that is the thought, that is the idea that is being impressed upon them again and again. One day that child will say, no, I'm not a loser, I am not a loser. Second day the child will say, I'm not a loser. But eventually the child is going to believe that, and once it's believed, it takes part in your subconscious. It becomes a paradigm. Oh, that idea is now become a belief. I am a loser. So what then happens is you start attracting things on that frequency. Why? Because I'm actually going to write something here. Your paradigm control, so this P is for your paradigm, it controls your perception, how you think in life. It controls your logic. It controls the money that you earn. It controls time. It controls your relationships. Everything is being controlled by your paradigm. Everything. So when you have this perception about yourself, remember I showed you in a bit when I was just had this, and you had this perception of your opinion, I am a loser. Now that's your perception about yourself. By law, because that's what you think, that's what you will attract. That's your point of attraction in life. Now, once you start believing that about yourself, more and more situations and circumstances will come in life to prove you the same, right? So when the child believes that I'm a loser, they're still taking action. The body is still moving into action. But because it's from the frequency of I am loser, it will give you a result, but that result is going to match what? That result is going to match this point. I am a loser. So therefore, they have a negative result in life. Likewise, if you set a goal today, I want to start earning £10,000 a month, right? I want to start earning £10,000 a month, million a year, whatever that is for you, 100K a year, right? I'm just giving an example. But deep down, your paradigm, your self-image is set at, because remember I told you, it controls your money. It is set as £2,000 a month. No matter what you do, no matter how much education you take on your conscious level, how many courses you do, how many jobs you do, how many people have you seen, they're doing the same jobs, like multiple jobs, but they're still earning the same money. Or even if you earn, you will lose it. If you know most of the lottery winners, what happens? They lose the money. Why? Because of their paradigm, their self-image. So this paradigm is what is actually costing you. And I want you to ask yourself, what is your paradigm costing you? What has your paradigm costed you? So paradigm, remember, is a collection of your beliefs and behaviors. So when you say I procrastinate, consciously you know you want to earn 10K, but your behaviors are not matching that identity. And we will talk about that, all of that during this week. But I want you to understand, that's why your affirmations are not working. Why? Because all of your affirmations are where? You tell me now. Where are your affirmations? Your affirmations are on your thinking mind, in your thinking mind, because that's where all of the education is. That's where you take, you're taking all of the information in. So you are repeating affirmations, but nothing is changing. Why? Because your behavior is not changing in life. You're repeating things, but that will take you forever and ever for you to believe in it. Because if you keep telling yourself, I'm a millionaire, sit on a couch and do not do anything all day long, do you think anything is going to happen? No. Why? Remember, paradigm is just not your thoughts, it's also your behavior along with it, right? So when I'm talking about, again, I'm going to draw the stick person. By the way, this is called stick person. That's the real name. I call it it's you, but it's actually your stick person. So when people are repeating affirmations here, and their goal is 10K, or they go 10K months, or their goal is more better health, whatever your goal is from yesterday, your subconscious is, do you think it believes that? No. How do I know? Because your results are not there today, right? So what's happening in the subconscious? Understand. And that's where you're not in harmony. So you're doing all of that work, but that is only responsible for 5%. But in your subconscious, the belief is, I'm not worthy. I don't deserve. All of this is happening. So if I don't deserve, I'm not worthy, good health is not available to me. So all of that is emotions, right? Those are how you feel about yourself. And if you look at the word emotion, I'm actually going to write it nicely because I want to show it to you what it really means. All of this is your emotions. Look at this. What it means is the energy that is in motion. And if the energy is in motion, I am not good enough. I forgot to write that one. That's one of the most common ones. I am not good enough. Guess what? That's the energy in motion. I'm not worthy. You believe, you have this opinion about yourself that you procrastinate. Right? So all of those things are now keeping you stuck in life. So paradigm controls, the subconscious controls 95% of your results in life. And that's where the confusion comes in. That's where it is in contradiction actually. Because paradigm controls how much are you going to serve, how effective you are, how productive you are. It controls your logic. So on a conscious level, you might say you want to earn 20,000 pounds a month, right? But your subconscious is programmed at 5,000 pounds a month. It will not let you go there. Why? Because that is the ceiling it has for itself. So if you were told when you were young, even before that, I want you to understand. I'm actually going to go back to when you were really young because I want to show you something. When you were young and you were given ideas that you are not good enough, maybe you were in a school and you spoke in front of your class or an assembly and children laughed at you and you felt really embarrassed. Where did that emotion go? Where did that go, you think? Because everything in the subconscious, there's only two ways to go into your subconscious. One is constant spaced repetition of an idea. The right example for that is the times tables that you know by heart today. Do you know your times tables by heart, majority of them? Why? Because you repeated them again and again in your childhood. Do you know your calculations of maths by heart? Why? Because you've done it again and again. Your spellings in life. Why? Because you were taught that in school again and again. So anything that is repeated again and again, okay, and an emotional impact goes right into your subconscious, right into your subconscious. So if the ideas were repeated that you're not good enough, you're worthless, you're not clever, you can't have this, money does not grow on trees, all of that information that was happening around you through your five senses was going right into this baby's subconscious. If your kids are small, I would please tell you to become very aware of how you're programming them. Why? Because this is just a conditioning. This is just a conditioning. It's just a programming. And to change, you just need to change your programming. Many people believe that, oh, I'm not good enough. Many people believe, I'm not worthy of this. You're not broken. You do not need any fixing. What you really need is to change this programming that is inside you, the conditioning, because that's not real. You were not born with it, right? It started coming to you probably in your mother's womb. And then up to 9 years of age, it was there. It just kept coming. And doesn't mean that it stops, even if today you have an emotional impact, you might straight away that will go into your subconscious. I know I had one emotional impact, really bad one, when I was not married. It was before my marriage. And hence I'd really remember that. And that emotional impact created my next life, which, oh wow, which I will talk about on Thursday, maybe a little bit, right? So you need to understand God has given us everything. Oh wow. If you think you're serious, ask me to call emergency services. No way. I'm all good. Okay. So, do you understand how all of this is connected? What I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to come back on camera now. I'm going to, before they call some services on me of anything that happened to me, let me come back. But I'm going to bring about my stick person. I want you to understand, you believe that you're broken or you need fixing. All of that is wrong. You just need to change this programming. A lot of people get stuck. Oh, I have got these blocks. I can't earn money. All of that is a story you tell yourself. That's not true, right? Why? Because all of us, remember I shared this quote with you yesterday, that God's gift to us is all talents and all abilities that we can use in a lifetime. Our gift to God is to use as much of those talent and abilities that we can. So I want to ask you that there is no blame game on your parents, on your teachers, anyone. They did what their level of awareness was. Today, I have given you this information. I've told you that the only thing that you have to change is this. You are working on your conscious mind. Brilliant. That is important as well, because you needed to reject ideas or accept ideas or originate a better idea. But this is what needs to change, because this doesn't have the power. This is running on default. This is running from probably when you were in your mother's womb or even after that. It's running on that conditioning. It's like, you want to watch, so in your life, your goal is probably to watch Pretty Woman. But this has got Lion King in it. It's not going to play Pretty Woman movie for you. It's only going to play Lion King, because that's the conditioning. So like, even if this is like a computer, if you really understand this, right? Your subconscious, like what? Whatever codes have been imprinted, that's the only thing that's going to be expressed out. You can't express out anything which is not in here. So if the ideas are not here of abundance and prosperity, if the ideas are of lack, limitations, that's exactly what's going to come out. That's how it is. It just is not possible. So what do? So when you want, when your iPad, your technology gets old, what do? You buy a new one or you update it. Like we get phones, right? Our phones have these, look, my gold card is always with me. So your gold card should always be with you, right? So, you've got phones, and your phones have got, we always get this update notification, update your phones, right? So if you do not update, at certain points, it's going to become very old and it won't work as efficiently. So you need to understand that that's why we need to upgrade this as well. Why? Because it's controlling everything about you, literally everything. So understand this, that your paradigm controls your self-image, it controls your time, it controls your perception, it controls your logic, because it's controlling everything in life. And if that's not being changed, what do you think is going to happen? Nothing is going to change, right? Nothing at all. So your paradigm is a set of your belief and your behavior. So you need to start changing that belief and your behavior. So if your perception is seated here again, right, you will perceive things accordingly. If your perception about life is it's hard, if your perception of life is, it's not great, if your perception about your health is, or your perception about yourself is, I'm not worthy, that's exactly what you will create. So what do you need to do? You need to start changing this here. And then again, understand what happens. Maybe someone wants to be a YouTuber and, they're really hyped up. They want to become a YouTuber and they probably, shoot a video and they upload it. And they got maybe 99 good comments, but they get one bad comment. What happens? That sticks with them. Why? Because that's how the mind works. That's how we are. That's how we are conditioned, right? We are programmed. One negative, and then that's it. I do not want to do it. People do not like it. And all of that stories will start coming in your mind. Does that happen with you? It definitely happens, right? So understand what is happening. Conscious is amazing, it's important. But this needs to work in harmony with this. Like they need to work in harmony with each other because you have set really good goals yesterday, right? Your goals are beautiful, whether it's having a new home, a bigger farm, hitting 1 million in your business, whatever that is, beautiful goals. But your programming also needs to support that. Your conditioning needs to support what is happening. What do you want? Because if you believe, so for example, if your goal is, I want to earn 1 million, and your programming is, it's hard to earn money, it's really hard, I have to work long hours to earn that type of money, do you think your subconscious will allow you to do that? No, it won't. Why? Because it's not in harmony. And that is the reason why majority of lottery winners lose the money, because this is not in harmony with that. So what do? You need to start changing your conditioning. How do you do that? You just do not change. So this is where people go a little bit wrong. I don't like using the word wrong, but this is where people go a little bit, oh, let me do affirmations. Maybe I've got limiting beliefs. And they'll start doing affirmations. They'll start gaining more knowledge and all of that. But what they're doing is they don't understand. They're just growing the gap. They're just growing the gap. What you really need to do is you need to actually start working on your, of course, your beliefs, but behavior as well. Remember what I said, paradigm is a set of belief and behavior. Not one, both, right? I can give you car keys, and if you do not know how to drive car, you can stand outside the car and be like, oh, I'm a good driver. But if you do not learn how to drive a car, how is that going to happen? That's why when I said to you yesterday, when you've set the goals, ask yourself, what can I do today to start moving towards that goal? Because, and that's what we will talk on self-image as well. We'll talk tomorrow about that as well, because fear stops us. Fear is one thing that really stops us. But when you truly understand that, okay, where is fear coming from? And I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. It's only coming from my fear is a feeling, it's an emotion, it's in my subconscious, and it's coming from my conscious mind. So what do? I need to start changing thoughts here. And I remember I told you, your thoughts are coming from where? Your thoughts are coming from your past experiences of life, and they're coming from your outside world, right? And that's why they say, like, who here knows about Joe Dispenza? Loads of people maybe, right? What does Joe Dispenza always say? Joe Dispenza always says, stop living in your past. Because if you keep living in your past, you keep recreating your past because you're thinking from your past. We think, on an average, around, 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. And 90% of those thoughts are coming from where? They're coming from your past experiences of life. So if something did not work for you last time, you believed it to be true, and now you're saying it's not going to work for me now as well. Who says that? Who says that? And that's why all of these, I think in personal development, a lot of people get fixated in, oh, there's something wrong with me. I need to work. I've got these blocks, I've got confidence block. Who here feels they've got less confidence? I'll break that myth for you right now. Now, think about it. You might not be confident in one area of your life. Maybe you're in business and you're not confident in selling. Maybe you're not confident in posting on social media. But are you telling me you're not just confident at all? How is that possible? Like if I look at my old self, right, years ago, I believed I was not confident, right? Because I used to be a teacher, and I remember I used to feel, oh my gosh, I'm not good at public speaking. And I remember I would teach in a class, but to give a certificate in an assembly, like every Friday would be like, I would find excuses because I didn't feel the confidence in myself, right? But how mistaken identity that was about myself. Why? Because I'm confident driving a car. I was confident as a mother. I was confident as a teacher. So why is it just one thing that when I was giving certificates, I believed I was not confident? Or when I had to speak in front of SLT or present something in front of people, I would feel I'm not confident. And look at me today. I'm presenting it to hundreds of people, right? Thousands of people. And that's good by me because because what have I changed? I've changed that programming. So stop labeling yourself, first of all, because we label ourselves all the time. Oh, I'm not confident. I did this wrong. Oh, I always do things wrong. Who says you always do things wrong? But what is happening is you are living your life from your five senses, right? Whatever you see, your current results are showing you, you're accepting all of them. Remember what I said, this has the power to accept or reject. So whatever you're seeing in your five senses, you're accepting them. When you accept those, what is happening? You're living from them. And you keep creating your past again and again. And you do not want that, but you keep recreating that. And that is what is stopping you from getting to your goal. It's not that you can't get to your goal. It's not your abilities. It's not that you don't have the confidence. It is this. It's the programming. Because your programming is a set of your belief and your behaviors. So your behaviors are not matching your new identity. Your behaviors do not match the goal you want. Your beliefs do not match the goal you want. Because if you are setting a goal that I earn 50,000 pounds a month, million, whatever that is for you, or, I am in this beautiful relationship with someone who is head over heels for me. But deep down, your programming is, who are you kidding with? You can never be that person, right? That's not possible for you. You don't deserve that. And if all of that is your programming, which is, by the way, all false, how will you get to your results? How? I want to ask you, how? So you do not need to know the action steps. What you need to know is, where are you programmed? Bob Proctor used to say it's very important to know where you're going in life. Very important. Like we did that yesterday. But even more important, after you know where you're going, is very important to know where you are today. And what I mean by where you're today is in your programming, in your conditioning. Where are you here? What is your set point about finances? What's your set point about relationships? What are your standards that you've set for yourself in here? Because your actions, your behaviors, everything is from there. Right? So what do? Like one mistake and you wouldn't do it. I don't believe in myself anymore. You start telling yourself that story, but that is far away from the truth. You do believe in yourself. Maybe you do not believe in yourself because, you made one mistake, which was not even a mistake. It's a learning of life. So what do you do then? What do you start doing? You need to start changing your beliefs. So again, think about it. Whatever is impressing, so all the information and knowledge that you're taking, and that's why I'm asking you to go through the questions in the workbook, do the homework. Why? Because that will make you think. What is happening here? So if you look at today's questions, they're asking you, like, what is your programming costing you? What is your paradigm costing you? So if you look at your questions, you have them here. What is costing you? Because paradigm is controlling you. So you have this stick person because, this is your homework. I want you to actually draw this out or use this. And I want you to really write your notes, which you've learned from me today. And make beautiful drawings and post them. This is one of your homeworks. I would love to see what you have gained knowledge about. And how would you change it? Because if your goal is to earn whatever money that is, or relationships or health, I want you to show it to me. What is right now here, but also what it needs to be changed to. What is the programming that needs to change it to? So make sure that you're doing this work, because I would love to see this. So this is one of your main homework for today. Because this is in conflict, and I want you to understand that this cannot be in conflict. It cannot be in conflict. This has to be changed. So I want you to write it down. I want you to write about the antennae, like what are the five senses, the conscious mind, the subconscious, the body, and then write down what results are you getting in life. Are they positive? Are they negative, your results? What type of results are you getting in life? So really write about them, right? So understand, when you have this vibration, actually, I'm going to draw something else as well. Maybe or maybe not. I'm not sure. Let me think. So when you are in this emotional state, remember when I wrote emotion, what is your emotional state? That is where you are. That is, oh my God. Oh, sorry. That is where you are programmed. And that's exactly what you're attracting in life today. So to change that, you have to change your beliefs and your behaviors. You have to start changing them. So if you want to be, and that's what I'm going to do tomorrow with you, I'm going to really help you move into action, like really, because fear will stop you. Today you've got this knowledge, which is brilliant. So now it's your responsibility to start changing this as well. But understand, it's not about just positive thinking, right? Like when people look at the conscious mind, they think, oh, it's all about positive thinking. It's not. You could be a very positive person and still your results could be zero, right? So it's not about just being positive. It's actually the right thinking. And the right thinking is with your goals. When you have this big goal, the right thinking needs to match that goal. You need to start thinking from the frequency of your goal. Many people are, they want to be unhappy, they want to listen to happy music, but they tune into sad music. That's just not possible. So what thoughts are you tuning into? What feelings are you tuning into? That's exactly what your results in life will be. Actually, I might just actually show this to you. I think I'm getting this intuition, and I always go into my intuition, like I always listen to that. Okay, so if I just show this to you, I think it's very important for you to understand. Now you understand, you understand that you have this conscious mind, this subconscious mind. You understand you, how you are programmed, how you are conditioned. What I want to show you next is, why are you getting the results which you are getting? Because this world operates by law. There is a law that is always operating, and the law is one of the primary laws is law of cause and effect. And I'm sure you have heard the laws of attraction, law of vibration. So everything is on a frequency. Everything is on a frequency. Everything. It's like radio station. Everything is on a frequency. And these are the frequencies. There is no end to it from the top. It's unlimited. It's unlimited at the bottom. And the thing is that all of these frequencies are connected to the one at the top and one at the bottom. All of them. Right? Now, you need to understand this because your goal is somewhere here at the top. And you, your stick person that I just drew for you, is somewhere right at the bottom. How do I know? Because you think on this frequency, you feel on this frequency, the thoughts that you think, the feelings that you have are on this frequency. That's why your results are on this frequency. To achieve your goal already exists. If you can see it in your mind, you can already see it. Why? Because you can't see what does not exist already. So if you can see it in your mind, it already exists. What your job is now, and that's what I'm going to help you actually throughout the week, is to actually get onto the frequency of your goal. How do you get onto the frequency of your goal? By thinking thoughts from on your frequency of your goal, by feeling on the frequency of your goal, and by taking actions from the frequency of your goal. And that is what it is called attitude. And when you have the right attitude, you have the right results. Right now, you are here and you want to be here, right? But you do not want to work on yourself. You're not changing your thoughts. You're not changing your feelings. You're not changing your actions. That's why you keep getting the same results. So remember when I drew the stick person, you are gaining knowledge on your conscious level, 100%. You're reading books, you're doing the affirmations, you're doing all of that. But your thoughts are still coming from where? Past experiences. And that is why to understand how that stick person works is so important. Why? Because if your thoughts are still coming from your past, you're still feeling whatever your subconscious feeding you, that you're not good enough, you're not worthy enough, how will you get to your goal? So I know someone did write in the group they wanted to be a millionaire. Amazing, beautiful goal. Do you think, and this is where I say be honest with yourself, do you think thoughts like a millionaire? Do you feel like $1 million in yourself? Do you take actions from that place, or are you dimming your light? So even if it's not just about money, even if it's for your relationships, happiness, everything. That's right there at the top. Do you think happy thoughts? Do you take actions to fill your own cup? Or are you always overgiving? You do not have any boundaries. You allow people, your five senses, to dictate what's going to happen. You're living your life from your five senses. So, how do you think that's going to happen then? Not possible, right? So, what do you need to do? You need to start changing this programming here. You need to start changing the thoughts. So, you need to start working on all levels, right? You need to start changing the thoughts that you think. So, you need to think from your goal. You need to feel from your goal, and you need to start taking action from your goal, right? And that is how everything starts changing. And you know what? God has given us the gifts to do this, to block these five senses. The five senses were just meant for us to survive in this world, right? So we can survive. But what we did instead, we just started living from these five senses. It's for your survival, it's not for living. Okay? So when you understand this, that these five senses were given to me for just to kind of protect myself in the world, right? What am I doing? I'm doing the other thing. I'm living from my five senses. And if you are living from your five senses, you're reacting to life, right? You're reacting. You're all the time reacting. But if when you start living from the inside out, you stop reacting to life. You start responding to life. You really have to start responding to life. How many of you feel that you're reacting to life all the time? You're living from your five senses. Because remember, again, I love this quote, and I always say about this quote that God has given us everything. He's given us the six mental faculties. And I will talk about the six mental faculties one of the days. But I'll still tell you, right? We've been given imagination, perception, will, memory. We have been given intuition. We've been given all of these mental faculties as an antidote of this. So we can start working from that. And when we start working from our mental faculties instead of our the five senses, we can create whatever we want. That's the power we all have. That's what I did. That's what everyone who has ever achieved something has ever done, consciously or unconsciously. They have changed their programming. They have changed their conditioning. They have stopped living their life from their five senses. Why? Because they have this goal in mind, and consciously or unconsciously, they have become that person who lives on the frequency of that goal. And that is why it is so important to understand you, where you are, where you're going, where you are, and how to change that then. So, no one has asked me, by the way, how do we change our paradigms? That is interesting. How do you change your paradigms? Like I told you, I'm never going to gatekeep anything. I will share everything with you. So, how do you change it? You change it the same way it was planted, through constant spaced repetition and emotional impact. So you go in your imagination and you start getting emotionally involved. Why do you think I asked you yesterday, what is your 7 levels of why? Why did I ask you that? Why? Because that is your emotional connection to your goal. You need to have an emotional connection to your goal. That's how things will start showing up in your life. That's how the how will come to you. So your homework today is to draw that stick person, by the way, to do the homework, and then we've got some questions for you because I want you to be prepared for tomorrow, because tomorrow I will help you break through this paradigm, right? So what's your strongest paradigm? Answer this question, right? How much has your paradigm costed you so far? And specify the amount. Really think about it. How much has it costed me? If I believe about myself, I'm not confident. What is that confidence costing me every day? If I know I can achieve or I can start earning this much money, but I'm not acting from that place, how much is my paradigm costing me? How much is my paradigm of thinking that I am not good enough costing me, right? All of those things, what is it costing you? I want you to write this down and maybe specify an amount. Maybe it's costed you 100,000, maybe 1,000,000. You are dimming your light. How much happiness is it costing you? Then it says to write down 5 things you know you should do to achieve your goal, but you don't do them. This is very important because I'm going to help you break through this tomorrow. So tomorrow is very exciting day again. I just, the way these lessons are planned, guys, there is a rhythm to it. There, like I said, this is like a puzzle. By the end of the week, you'll be able to fit in all the pieces of the puzzle and be like, oh, now I get it. Now I see how success is a system It's not just for anyone, it's for everyone. And how can we really work on that? So 5 things you should know to achieve your goal, but you don't do them. Write on the 5 most destructive beliefs you have about your goal or yourself. So it's not just about you, but for your goal as well. What are the 5 destructive beliefs, So what is it that you believe about it? And then choose out of that one habit and one belief from the list above and write down the formula for the paradigm shift. So, like, what thoughts, what belief are you going to now change? What action steps are you going to start taking now? So, that's how you change your paradigm, right? By changing your belief, your thought process, and by changing your behavior as well. Not just one, both. And majority of the people in personal development get caught up in, oh, it's all my limiting beliefs. No, you do not have a limiting belief. Let me show you what I have on my Apple Pencil here. I'm not sure if you can see, but it says, I'm limitless, right? I got this engraved. It's on even on my iPad. I'm limitless. So are you. We all are limitless, right? We are all limitless. There is no limit to what we can achieve. There is so much that God has given us. But the only thing that you have to keep changing is your programming. That's it. Right now you're thinking from lack and limitation. Start thinking from abundance and prosperity. Maybe you're thinking of why things cannot be done. What if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong? Maybe you have this idea of what if, which is always negative. Okay, let's change into what if this was possible? What if this really works out for me? What if is participating in this challenge and doing this worksheet every day could actually help me? I know one person actually told me last month when we did our challenge, their daughter did their work with them, and her daughter actually got scholarship in a private school because she wrote her goal. So she did every day the work that needed to be done. And by the end of it, I think a week, and she's like, her mother said to me, the school called up and like, why is the school calling me up? And they said, we would like to see you. And she's like, why would they like to see us? Because they're applying for secondary schools. And when they went, the school said, oh, you know what, we would love to offer your child a scholarship. And she was really like in shock. And her daughter then told her, mom, you were participating in that challenge. I did all the work as well. And that was my goal. I wanted to get this scholarship in life. And that's what she got. So that's the power of intention. That's the power of belief. That's the power of what you can have. Everything is limitless, Uh, yeah, you can have anything. I've had so much success in my life, not just financially, health wise, relationships, with my children, everything, because everything is possible. So that's my thing for you. So do the work, apply this work, and tomorrow we are going to dive deep into fear. How many times does fear stop you? Because fear will always stop you. So instead of running away from fear, I want you to start learning what is fear and how do you embrace that fear, and then you go past that, go through that wall of terror barrier and actually get to your goal. Why? Because that's where the goal lives. That's where you are of your comfort zone. So that is for me from today. Please do the work, post it in the groups. I would love to help you, support you. And remember, we are choosing winners. So if you're posting your work, my team will be reaching out to you for your addresses, and we'll be posting your gratitude journals to you. So please make sure you're doing the work. So yeah, would love to. Yeah, we will. And also, by the way, uh, I know you might have a lot of questions, and that's fine. On Saturday, it will all be Q&A. So get ready with all of your questions. Maybe you've missed some from goal setting yesterday. Maybe you have some questions from today, and you will still get some more questions. Brilliant. I want you to have lots and lots of questions, because on Friday, we will move into Zoom. Saturday, one of the days. Friday night, we will move into Zoom after money. And actually, I will answer all of your questions. Any questions, I do not mind how long it takes me, hours, 2 hours, but I don't mind, but you have to show up and ask the questions. And if you, yeah, so I would, and that call won't be recorded. So please show up and do the work, apply the work. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. And actually, going through the terror barrier, I would absolutely love that. So thank you guys so much for joining in. I really appreciate